welcome to the Excel module. In today's session, we will be talking about the sum function. So there are multiple sum functions which is available in Excel. We can use sum if, sum product. So we will talk about that in detail. First, we will see how theoretically these functions are different with each other and how we can practically apply that in the data. So we will also see the practical implications of that. So let's get started. Okay. So first of all, what exactly sum function is? So as a name suggests, sum is basically you are considering the total of some values. So you are basically adding some values inside Excel. So sum function is basically help you in add the numbers. You can select the cell, rows, columns, and get the final value out of it. You also have something called sum function. Then you have sum function with if. So we have something called sum if. Then you have sum ifs. And then we also have something called sum product. So sometimes we want to add the values, but with the conditions. So then we will use sum if or ifs. If it is one condition, it will be sum if. If it is multiple condition, it will be sum ifs. And after that, it will be sum product. So if function is altogether a different function where you are working on more on the logical building part. But if is also be considered with these arithmetical functions which we have. So sometimes we use that with the sum function and all other functions like count and averages. So let's get started and see that in detail. So obviously we will be having the separate session for the if functions, but just to give you the idea, we will check that here as well. So let's first start with the first function, that is sum. So for example, I need to calculate the total of some column. Let's consider the total of the sales value. So I can just go ahead in this. I will say sum. You will see that it is automatically giving you the sum function saying add all the numbers in a range. You can press tab to select that particular function, and then you can go ahead and give the ranges. Obviously, the range of this particular data is too big because it's a large data. So I will go on the first cell, Control, Shift, and down arrow, which is a shortcut to select all the rows which is there in the data. So you will see that sum is considering the value from E2 to E2835. So these many rows, and I will just press enter, and automatically it is giving you the sum for that particular range. Very, very simple. Then after that, you have something called sum if. So for example, I need to calculate the sum of the sales, but this time only when the status of the sales is shipped, for example. Let me see if I have multiple statuses. Yeah, we have other spaces, other statuses as well as like hold, disputed, and all of that. So I will only be considering something which is shipped category. So I can, in that case, I will apply a sum if. So you will see that you have two options, sum or sum if. So I will go with the first one. Now you can just read what exactly it is saying here, like the parameters. So first parameter is range, then criteria, and after that the sum range. So in the range, you will add that particular range where you wanted to match your criteria. And in the sum range, you will give that column which you want to add up. So in this, I wanted to check my status. So that will be my first range. Then my criteria is that it should be shipped. Always whenever you will considering any text value to get compared, it should be in the double quotation. So shipped. And once those particular columns show you the shipped value, whatever column you have, like whatever row you have in front of that in the E column, consider that and give me the sum of it and press enter. So what this function will do, it will select only those rows where you have the shipped category, like shipped status basically. And whatever rows you have in front of that, it will consider that. There is one thing which you have to check here. When you are selecting the rows to give the range for the criteria and for the sum, make sure that it is considering the same number of rows. So for example, if you start selecting it from E2 and you are going till E18 here, so that should also be same from E2 to E18. Because if the rows are not mismatched, like not matched properly, and there is any kind of mismatch, there might be any calculation error. Now, in order to check whether my calculation is correct or not, I will apply a filter to it, and I will only be filtering it out, the ship category in this case, to see all the shipment mode. Again, I will press Control Shift and down arrow. And now you will see that it has considered all those values. And in the bottom, it is giving you the sum of it. And that sum should match here with this number, which is matching, which is absolutely fine. Obviously, this particular checking you don't need to do. I'm just doing it so that you guys can see how that is matching. So this is all about the sum if. After that, you have some ifs. It means you have multiple logics. So I will use the second one this time. I always suggest this to everyone. Don't try to remember what I have to put first, what I have to put second in the functions. Always make sure to read these parameters which Excel is already giving you. So first is sum range. So what you want to add. So I will go here. Again, I want to add my sales column. So I selected the whole column from the top. Then your criteria range 1. So what is your criteria? My criteria is that the status needs to be shipped. So again, I will select this and my criteria is that it needs to be shipped. Then criteria range second. My criteria range second is that my, let's consider country. So I will select the country that it needs to be USA. So I will select USA in this case. So it will give me the sum of sales only when my status is shipped and my country is USA. I will press enter. Obviously, it is not required that you will only be adding 2 condition. You can add more as well. I will press enter to this and it will give me the correct answer. How I will check it? Again, I will go in this particular table. I will filter my data out considering for the shipment category. So only shipped in this case. Also, I will go here and in this country, I will go and select the USA because that is the only one. Now I have few rows. I will go in the sales column, Control Shift down arrow, and you will see that it is giving you the sum, which is 33600 something, and that should match with this number. So it is always considering both the condition. So this is all about the sum if which you have. Now I will just go ahead and remove these filters because I don't want to see. Obviously, again, not required to check it every single time, just to see how it's working. After that, you have some product. Some product I can show you here. For example, I have some quantities like 20, 30, and 50. And I have some prices for that. I have prices like 100, 200, and 400. So if I need to multiply this particular value here, so I will go ahead and first multiply these two numbers and later on I will add it, right? For example, this into this, it will give me the multiplication. Then it will give you the final multiplicated value. After that, you will apply a sum function to calculate the sum of it. So you are doing a product as well as a sum. So we have an option to calculate this final number directly without calculating this thing and using the two functions. So that is called sum product. You are multiplying the corresponding ranges and adding the result out of it. So there is a direct function for that, which is called sum product, right? And in this, you just need to give your ranges. So I'm giving this range, comma, I'm giving this range, and I will close it. So first value of this range will be multiplied to the first value of the second range. And similarly, it will do it for all the values which you have in the range and give you the final value out of this, which is this number. That is called sum product. Sometimes it is useful because you need to calculate the sum product for the value. So then you can use it directly rather than creating a column and then applying a sum function. So these are the 4 variations of the sum function where you can use it. You need to calculate total sales, total profit, region-wise sales, and all of that. So you use this particular function for that. So that's it from my side for this particular module. I will see you in the next one.